Welcome to another episode of the Crash Out Podcast.
The topic for our podcast today is what impact did the Reconstruction Amendments have on civil rights in America?
After the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendments, the abolishment of slavery, the establishment of citizenships for formerly enslaved people, and the guarantee of voting rights for black men. Although these rights were later heavily restricted by Jim Crow laws in the South, effectively marking a major step towards racial equality, violent with significant limitations in practice, abolishing slavery throughout the United States, and in the institution of forced labor. Despite the amendment, Southern states enact discriminating Jim Crow laws to systematically disfranchise black Americans and enforce segregation.
So the 13th Amendment started because the slaves were struggling because they didn't feel equal enough and they didn't have enough rights to fit in.
Oh really? What year did it become a law officially?
Well, the Senate passed it in 1864 and it finally became a law in 1865.
Oh
wow. What were some of the struggles after it became a law?
After it became a law, the struggles were that the Constitution did not provide them shelter, food, and water, or a place to live, because they didn't think they would be in debt or there would be any struggles for the slaves to in order. Yeah.
African Americans don't have to worry about another KKK cult happening and threatening them again. Thanks to the 13th Amendment, African Americans don't have to worry about becoming a slave or having to do labor without pay.
Ad break.
You guys see this computer right now? This computer is on sale. It was at $500. It's $300 now. Go to your nearest Apple store to get this fancy computer. Go right now. Go!
The Reconstruction of the 14th Amendment on civil rights in America was abolishing slavery, guaranteeing citizenship and equal protection under the law, and prohibiting voting discrimination based on race.
Oh really? When and how?
1866, because of the race of color.
Oh, well, why were people so offended of the other race?
Because they weren't used to seeing enslaved people and in their space or sharing space with enslaved people, and they're just used to seeing their own color.
Go.
Germany, did you know that nowadays African Americans have more protection than they did a while ago? And now they don't have to worry about it.
One of the most important amendments in all of the amendments is the 15th one. And why? It was because black men were able to vote, but not women. Or women in general. It was only men.
That's kind of messed up. Why weren't women involved?
Because men saw women as powerless. They thought they were powerful than women, and they thought that only men can do things, which is wrong. So, yeah.
Well, didn't the African Americans have to pay to vote?
Yes.
So why?
It was because white men in general, they wanted African Americans. They weren't used to African Americans because they only saw them as slaves. So they wanted to pay only African Americans to vote so they can be in debt. And they were already in debt in general after being enslaved because they were in farms working and they were in debt.
Penelope, did you know that the 15th Amendment led to the women's right to vote?
No, it didn't. It didn't? No. Women became to vote in the 19th Amendment in 1920 by Susan B. Anthony. Wait, so what actually happened? So basically, in the 15th Amendment, only African men were allowed to vote, not African women. It was only men. And in general, it was only men. There was no women involved until 1920s when women of all colors started to vote too.
say that one. He is cheating. I misread my information and I agree with Marshall 100%. Okay. So basically, they say all Africans.
Yes. Anyone can vote now. With the block.
What the heck? Mr. Murray, we have a videotaping.
Children, women, got rights to vote.
I feel like we should do it.
Oh my God, come on!
So, what are your thoughts about the 13th and the 14th and 15th Amendment?
I think they're good for us. I don't agree with the slavery, so the 13th and 14th and 15th, I think that they made our country better.
But do you ever think that there's some issues for it though?
There might be. I mean, everything has its pros and its cons. So, like I said, but I don't think slavery was right in the first place. So, the 13th especially was good. But you'd have to research, and there are pros and cons to everything, no matter what you do.
What's one thing you think that affected the most for us?
The 13th Amendment, I think, affected us the most.
Okay, thank you.